Hello, everybody. My name is Angela Duncan. I am the Director of Operations for Hip Hemp. I've been with the company for 5, almost 6 years. Started when the company was a baby, and we've grown. And super excited to have this armchair chat or armchair talk with Dante.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Dante. I'm the operations manager for Hip Hemp. We also have a sister company in the same building, Dermal Source, so I kind of wear the same hat for both. But yeah, I started working here at Hip Hemp for, it's not been a year, 9 months?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but we've both been talking just over the time that I've been here. I think just naturally kind of opening up to each other, and more recently had the idea to start these armchair talks, as we're calling it. Yeah, and we're just hoping that this can be a space for you all to get to know us a little bit better, the people behind the website and the phone calls, and yeah, this is also today's topic, which I'll let you present, is something that we're both really passionate about and excited to share.
Yeah, definitely. So we're hoping to talk a little bit about how our physical health is going to help our mental health. And as everybody, that's one thing that we are all pulling together in this entire world about is COVID and all of these many changes that are happening in the world, for the better, for whatever. The bottom line is it's still a lot of stress, and there's still a lot of physical and mental health. And what we're hoping to talk about today is taking care of yourself physically can also play a huge role in taking care of yourself mentally. And Dante and I kind of played with the idea of, do we make ourselves vulnerable? Do we let the world know? We've suffered from anxiety too, and we're scared to death to go to the store, and we are afraid to take the bus, or do we not? Well, honestly, what we've been doing is working for us.
Yeah.
And the company that we work for has amazing organic products that works for people. Why not put it all together and have a chat?
Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be really good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely excited to just keep talking. At the end of today's discussion, we'll also ask for some feedback, so keep that in mind as you watch. Just we're hoping to make this a thing. But yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to. I think one of the things that I enjoy about working for Hip Hemp and working for Dermal Source as well is there's a lot of freedom to be able to be authentic. And so again, for us, I think this, Hip Hemp is more than just a company that sells products. I think you've done a lot of work with, well, you basically are Hip Hemp, have been there from the beginning, but like with your blogs, with posting blogs, a big thing for you has been kind of having, advancing the discussion about intimate health, women's health, vaginal health, all those different topics. And making it more less taboo and just more accessible for people to be able to talk about, because it's it's real stuff.
Absolutely, and there's so many people that suffer from the ever-changing changes of the body and what happens, and I think it's very important to be able to discuss that with your doctor, with your family, with your spouse, whoever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So, but also if you have read the blogs that I've done, and I know you've been working on blogs too, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, but it's exciting. We talk about other stuff outside of what just Hip Hemp does.
Yeah.
Because we are about feeling good and the body as a whole and what works. And maybe something will work that's not Hip Hemp related.
Yeah.
But we know that Hip Hemp is just a small piece of the overall physical well-being.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the blogs will say, hey, go out and try this, go try that. It may not be Hip Hemp related, but we just want you to feel better as a person and as a whole, not just here's our product and let's sell it and buy it, it works.
Yeah.
Because there's more to that. There's more to health, and it's especially the organic approach that we take and the natural approach that we take. your body is a whole system, and if one part is off or two parts are off or whatever, it's gonna throw everything off.
Yeah.
And so it's important that everything feels good.
And so to segue kind of into what we wanted to talk about today, maybe we can start if you want to share, this is a loaded question, how has COVID impacted you in, okay, so because, we all have our practices of taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, that can look like so many different things. Maybe we use products like our products, or even just self-grooming. Maybe we go to therapy, maybe we have friends we talk to. We have all these things in place that we have acquired as tools to be able to take care of ourselves. So for you, through COVID, I mean, I don't need to say it, COVID has really changed like everything.
Absolutely.
I think for all of us, no matter where we are in life. And with that is a lot of disruption, is a lot of unpredictability, is a lot of uncertainty. So how have you been with kind of just balancing all that and trying to take care of yourself?
That is such a good question. Between the fear of, is the office going to be open? Are we able to go to work and make sure that our products are still going out, or that are we still able to talk to our clients, to be that support system for our clients that are out there that need our support? And I have an autoimmune disease, which means my immune system struggles. And so for the past couple months, it's been office and home, office and home. And if I do go out, I mean, there's gloves happening, and there's sanitizer, and there's face masks. And I mean, if you could put me in a giant rubber or something, yes, I will be fine. So we'll be good. Thank goodness I've been able to come to the office, because I'd go nuts. I can't just sit at home. But with that being said, I have, not only just in my professional life, but in my personal life, I volunteer a lot with American Cancer Society, and I'm a big lead in that.
Right.
And so a lot of our volunteers were looking at me as, what are we doing? What do we do?
You're a source of support for a lot of people, which is good, but also that's pressure on you.
Yes, it was, because I said, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know what to tell you to do, because right now we're kind of in a pickle. We're at the mercy of this, pandemic. And so after a few weeks of stress and, COVID-19 pounds later that I've gained,
COVID-15.
COVID-15.
Freshman 15, COVID-15.
Oh, goodness sakes. I think for the most part, I had to get back to my, as normalcy as possible.
Your routine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to get back to that, and it took me a little bit.
Yeah.
I was used to getting up and going to work, and then going to the gym, and then going home, or going to the store, and then cooking dinner, and and it's like, what? No more stores, no more gym, no more going, to get my hair done. The things that I really enjoyed.
Right.
There's none of that.
So what do you do when you have these, tools in your toolbox that you employ to take care of yourself that are all of a sudden taken away from you? Obviously, that's changing now with phased reopenings, but we're talking about just kind of in general this whole period of COVID.
Absolutely.
What did you do when those were taken away?
I went back to the basics that I forgot. I forgot what it's like to just sit out. We were talking about this earlier. I love to go home and sit out in my backyard with my dogs.
Yeah.
I leave my phone in the house. I leave the TV off. And I sit there. Yesterday I got home and I sat out there for 3 hours, just sitting there, throwing the ball for my dog, taking in the fresh air.
Yeah.
I think I even looked at a hummingbird for the first time in a while. There was a dragonfly, and I'm like, dragonfly.
Oh, those are still around.
They are. They're still here. So there was a lot of things that was our normal.
Yeah.
But this has forced me to go back to appreciate a lot.
Yeah.
And I really look forward to going home and sitting out back.
Yeah.
And maybe even if it's cold, we have a little campfire, a little fire going, and barbecue, and just talking.
Yeah.
Being back to talking with my spouse. Just about life. And so now I'm going, do I really want to go back to the gym? Because this is starting to work. Yes, I do need to go back to the gym. But I think that's what, and not to mention realizing that there's everybody around us is going through something as well.
Yeah.
It's not just me. It's not just our volunteers. It's not just you.
Right.
We are all
We're
in
all
this
going
together.
through. It can feel so isolating.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times there are moments where it does feel. I know I felt like it's just me, and I know. I mean, rationally, I know that's not the case. But yeah, it feels that way. So, but it's good to remember that we're all going through this.
Yes.
And although it might look different exactly how, the stress is, we're all experiencing some degree of stress on
Absolutely.
on everything that, on our already existing lives.
Right. So what did you do? How have you handled this?
Oh my gosh. Well, so I was, definitely, like, I share in that kind of initial feeling of, like, what is going to even happen? Like, are we going to, is our business going to stay open?
Yep.
Am I going to have a job? And all those, kind of the same questions. And, like, I think we've all been very lucky to be able to continue to have jobs. I was very lucky to be able to work from home for 2 weeks. I think for me, the initial concern was, so I don't have a car, and I just moved, but I lived 150 blocks east. So,
That's a long way on public transportation.
Yeah, it's like a 2-hour round trip ride, just to get to and from work. And so that was, the initial, like, kind of frenzy of, like, what is this thing? And it's, people can be asymptomatic and still have it. So I think I just was like, I don't want to be in the bus, like, period. And I was very lucky that I was able to work from home for such a long time. But it was hard. I mean, like, and I feel weird saying, like, it's hard because I am lucky that I get to stay home.
Sure.
But there were challenges with it. And so some of those challenges I think were just, I'm an introvert. So I love being home.
Sure.
I have, I can entertain myself for weeks with things to do. But there came a point where it's like, I didn't feel like I was able to go outside of that space.
Sure.
And access other things that were important to me. I mean, nature was definitely something I turned to, so being outside, but it was stressful. It was really stressful. I think, got in my head.
Oh, yeah.
And, thankfully, I've been going to therapy the current therapist I've been seeing for over a year.
That's good.
And so, also thankfully one of the changes, I think positive changes that have been made is like the lifting of restrictions on telehealth.
Yes. Yes.
And so I have been able to, I think as a lot of people have been able to in general, I've been able to access my therapist, not physically, but,
Sure.
over the phone. Yeah, so I think similar to what you're saying, just, simple things, I think this whole period was very clarifying.
Absolutely.
As far as like, okay, I have to get creative, like I can't go get, my not microblading, my brows plucked.
Sure.
Whatever fruit kind of, I can't get a massage, I can't go to a restaurant, I can't XYZ,
Yeah.
So what can I do? And like there actually is a lot of stuff that I was able to do that I think, we can all try to do, but just simple things. I think nature and connecting with people.
Yeah. And I think, we are social beings in general. I mean, that's just who we are. We've got to be, we got to have that connection, even if like you're an introvert, but you still need to be able to connect.
Yeah.
And especially,
one-on-one, but yeah.
Yes. Well, but even if somebody tells you that you can't connect, that's when you really need it.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me I can't, even though I know it's for my own good.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can't do this and I need to get out and do it. And,
Yeah.
So it was coming up with new ideas. Let's do a Zoom game night. Let's do, my birthday was over April 13th, which was the heat of the, we were not even in phases. There was nothing.
There was just, we don't know what's happening, but
We don't know what's happening. Happy birthday. Yay. I don't know if I want to be here anymore, but
several shots later.
Several shots later, and a little food poisoning, but that's okay. No, it was still a great night because my wife set up a Zoom conference, surprised me with a bunch of friends that wished me happy birthday, and so we are tough creatures, and we make stuff work. It's just getting through that and finding out from others what works for them.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes down to the physical, getting out and going for a walk.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were even afraid to do that, but then we started learning that the fresh air is good, and this, the airflow is good.
Yeah.
I drive down the street and I'm seeing all these people. There's bicycles and there's dogs and there's people.
People are
and it's
out.
Like,
people are moving. Yeah.
Hi, neighbor. We had a long talk not too long, like about a month ago. We went out. And it was like, we stayed our distance, but we actually yapped. I
Right.
didn't know my neighbor's name, and I've lived there for 2 years.
And at that point, you're like, I don't care anymore. Let's.
It's
get
a
to know each
person.
other.
Let's talk.
Human
Let's talk.
beings.
So, but I think that that it's that physical
Yeah.
and social, but that physical health
Yeah.
and getting out, getting that fresh air, especially for a lot of people that either had to stay home because they couldn't go to work,
Yeah.
or they were working from home.
Yeah.
Many people say that they found themselves, they didn't even get dressed. They'd get up,
Yeah.
they do their work, so then I was talking to my father-in-law, who says, I get up every morning and I take my shower and I have my coffee
Yeah.
and I eat my breakfast and then I get on the computer right on, because he's got to make it feel somewhat normal.
You have to almost like kind of, I don't want to use the word trick, but like get yourself into that space to be able to function.
Right. Yes.
But if you're just, and everyone works differently.
Absolutely.
I know for myself, again, I worked from home for two months, and so I of course had my days where I just wore pajamas.
Oh yeah.
But it was helpful when I like actually got up as if I were going to work, maybe an hour later because I'm not commuting. But I eat my breakfast, I have my coffee, I dress in work clothes.
Yep.
And then afterwards I take that off, and that was really important because when you're working from home, at least in my experience, like I have to have that psychological break.
Absolutely.
And so being able to physically take off work clothes and put on like Dante clothes,
Yes. Right.
that was really important. But
That's really
having
a good
those
point.
routines,
Absolutely. And, learning all these new routines. What is going to be our new routine now?
Yeah.
How long is it going to be like that? I don't know.
Who knows?
Different states are in different phases and
Yeah.
different things are happening. Anything can happen. So in the meantime, we need to take what we have done and what is working
Yeah.
and continue with that.
Yeah.
And just because things might be getting back to normal, how long or
Yeah.
when will the next? So it's good to have a plan
Yeah.
and to know, how to move forward.
Right. Again, bringing it back to like what's in our toolbox, like what tools do we have, even if some are taken away.
Absolutely.
We still have things we can use.
Right.
You mentioned something that, and we've talked about this before, but it just got me thinking. But kind of talking back to like when you go home and just kind of sit in the backyard and you're away from the TV, you're away from your phone.
Sure.
So the phone bit, that's something that I found that I have to practice and get better at, especially with news. So I wanted to like ask you what, there's so much in the news, and I think in a lot of ways rightfully so, but it's also like it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And I think especially in today's day and age where most people do have a smartphone, like in their hand, in their pocket, everywhere with them. Maybe they even have a smartwatch. So there's just constant access to information, which has many benefits, but
At the same time, that is so bad.
it can get really overwhelming. So what's been your experience with kind of managing how much media, social media, other people's thoughts, opinions, reactions, and then also just general news outlets, kind of COVID coverage, managing your consumption of all of that and in a healthy way?
Good. That's really good questions. I don't have social media personally.
Probably a good place to
It is
be.
a good place to be.
do.
Everybody's got their opinions, and I respect everybody's opinions, and that's your opinion. That's fine. But there's so much other things that are happening in life that I can't be sucked in. So that's
It's a
my
rabbit
choice.
hole. I will say that. I have my social media. It can be a rabbit hole.
It can be, and I do, as you do. We both take care of social media for Hip Hemp, and which it's nice that we split that, because then even on our business social media, I find myself getting further and further into it, and it's like, no, back up.
Come back to reality.
Yeah, and with media, like I said, I had to turn it off and go outside.
Yeah.
And when it rains, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a covered backyard. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to turn off the media. It really is, because I want to know what's happening in my neighborhood, and I want to know what's happening in my backyard. But I also know the media can be one-sided or a little lopsided sometimes. Even though it gives me the general idea of what's happening.
Right.
We all have our own opinion about that, but
Right.
I finally I have to say we're turning the channel.
Yeah.
We need to just find something else. And right now we got a lot of reruns of old programs because they're not filming because of COVID.
Right.
So we're like, well, now what are we gonna watch?
Finally catching up on that list of
Yeah.
movies and
Right, yes, exactly. And then on these nice days, you know, we're barbecuing outside and
Yeah.
we're taking the dogs out, we're going for a walk. I've done a lot of fishing,
Yeah.
which has been amazing, and just getting out into nature, you know. But
Is it fishing season? I don't know anything about fishing, so I'm probably.
well, trout, yeah. I mean,
It's like salmon season, right?
yeah. There's summer steelhead. Well, there could be summer steelhead. There's springers or salmon. I think it's a little late for springers now, but that's salmon that's coming up from the ocean. And I know there's been a few people out on the Columbia, which I love to salmon fish. I love to.
Salmon is so good. I love salmon.
See, and I don't eat it, but I'll
You like to fish?
I'll fish it and
You can give
I'll
it to me.
provide.
That's how that'll work.
I will provide and you can eat it. But that's what you just have to step away.
Yeah.
You really do. And it's hard because you want to know what's happening. You want to know what's going on in your neighborhoods and stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to unplug. It's still going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, and it is.
And even in the next 5 hours, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
So what about you? How did you handle that?
No, I think similar. I mean, I consider myself someone who loves to keep up with the news. You know, I like to be informed about a bunch of different topics. So yeah, I mean, I think before I can't remember what I think it was like mid-March. It was like a Friday. I remember that here in Portland was like the first day of the pandemic. I feel like because like there was such a rush to the stores.
Yes.
But up until that point, I think most of us kind of saw it coming. Maybe we didn't know how serious it was going to be.
Sure.
But so, I was listening to the news every day. Like I had my podcast, an hour-long podcast, news podcast that I would listen to every morning on my commute. I loved listening to that. And then within the first couple of weeks of, I guess the initial kind of like reality hitting us here, I was still listening to the news every day. And then I think for me, the turning point was when, so I struggle with depression. I think it's like seasonal. It's
Sure.
not throughout the whole year. It's like it's actually this time of year, mid-April, May.
Wow.
So it's past, but I get it every year. And that was also middle of COVID. So thank you. That's
Triple whammy here.
triple,
Yeah.
But
Gosh.
and I'm pretty good at being aware of when it's that feeling,
Sure.
And so I think a couple weeks into the lockdown, a couple weeks into listening to the news, I started to feel my depression coming on. So I was like, okay, as much as I really want to know every single day, minute by minute, what's going on, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving me crazy.
Literally.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, it really is, and so I think just being, I just had to unplug from it.
Yep.
But I think on the flip side of that, and this also applies just to like everything in life, kind of, I think I mentioned like this period helping me clarify what's important.
Sure.
It has helped me clarify like the sources of news that I want to draw from.
Sure.
And how much news.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I used to get my news from Facebook, like back in the day, like 2016 was that was an interesting year to be on Facebook. Whatever side of the fence you're on, that was an interesting year to be on Facebook. So I used to get my news from social media. I think now, for the most part, I just don't turn to social media for that kind of information because it's overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So like, if I want to know about COVID, then I'll go to the CDC.
Sure.
Or I'll go to the county health department.
Sure.
Or I'll go to, my trusted news sources in moderation. So that's been helpful, I think, kind of knowing it's there, what are good sources, but at the end of the day, like, it's information.
Right.
And it's, it can be helpful if I use it in the right way. It cannot be helpful. So just kind of where's that line?
Right.
And it's never like a black and white. I think it's a constant like
Absolutely.
monitoring, and like actually now I find myself like leaning into the news a little bit more. I feel like mentally like I'm able to even comprehend what's going on.
Right. Which is really good because a lot of people they don't know. They don't know when they should stand back or what's too much, or they don't know their own symptoms that their body is telling them. Like you said, you can feel when your depression comes on.
Yeah, it's like a very noticeable.
Oh yeah, yeah. My anxiety. I went through the same thing just last week, in fact. And you know, for so long you have to be so strong for the business, for volunteers, for the family, for whatever, and then everybody else starts picking up, and then I go, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
And I have feelings too.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, I can't do this. So, but again, I was the same way. I started to notice it right away. I know these rapid heartbeats. I know the sweaty, the cold, clammy. You know, I know the breathing. It's just there's different signs. And then when I started kind of, well, almost hyperventilating, I'm like, well, nope, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I gotta take time for me because I need to let my brain process everything. And deal with it. But again, the best thing to do is listen to your body. Listen to yourself. What it, you know, and by all means, we are not doctors. We do not. We don't.
Clarify that now. This is not medical advice.
Not at all.
Just our opinions.
And this is what's worked for us. And for those close to us, I've heard a lot of different things that have worked for them. I've also heard a lot of people that have become alcoholics now too, which is not necessarily the best way to handle it, but everybody's handling it, you know, the best that they can.
So what would be your advice for, you know, maybe there are viewers who are hearing this and they're thinking, well, you know, I don't have those tools. I don't know how to even check in with myself, or I wouldn't even know how to identify if I'm experiencing something like anxiety or depression, or need maybe more help than I'm getting right now. What would be your advice to maybe some of those folks who,
honestly, I would start keeping a journal every day. You have a lot of time to get in your thoughts right now. Keeping a journal. What happened today? How are you feeling? You know, if you noticed, I have done some weight gain, or I've been sleeping in longer. You know, just little things. This is stuff that you can keep note of, and then you can go to your primary care physician, you can go to your therapist, whoever, and say,
here's this list. What does that sound like to you?
Right. I get that things are changing, but this is what's happening. You know, I mean, I'm such a list person. I document everything I eat. You know, but it's helped me because I look back and I'm like, well, that's why I've gained 19 pounds in the past 2 months. It's because I went from eating, you know, 0 sugar, low carb to a half a cake in 2 weeks. Cause
you understand why.
And it's that visual. And it's because when I start to think back, it's like, I don't know what's changed. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's changed with society and stuff. But when you can really pinpoint it and write it down, that's a good first step. And especially when you go to your physician and say, this is happening, they go, well, when did it start? I don't know. Well, what's changed? I don't know. Well, let me show you. This is everything that this is what's been happening. So
I will say that I do think that's really helpful advice that I've personally benefited from, you know, that practice just in my life. I think something that's helped me, like a thought that has been helpful for me is, I am not my thoughts. And I think, I'm not my thoughts, because I think being able to really sit and listen to yourself, not just, like sometimes I feel like my thoughts can almost be like a tape player, just the play button's been pressed, it's going. That's not me. I'm the one that's able to press stop. I'm the one that's able to listen. I'm the one that's able to rewind and kind of, you know what I mean? So I think it's helpful for me to almost like view myself as like another person. You know, step outside of myself and kind of see like, okay, this is Dante. What's going on?
What is happening?
What's happening? Like, you know, what are my thoughts? And so but it is, I think it takes that self-reflection.
Absolutely.
And I think self-reflection is something, it's a skill. I think it can come easier for some people than others for, I mean, you know, any number of reasons. But, you know, like any skill, it can be developed. So yeah, I do think that practicing, like being in a quiet space, putting your phone away, putting your TV away, your whatever distractions, including other people and letting other people know if you live with other people or might be in a space where other people can possibly kind of unintentionally, even interrupt that process. Just let people know, hey, I need 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It doesn't take that much time. It can be quick, to kind of self-reflect and just practice like listening to your own thoughts.
Yes.
And not take them so seriously.
Very much. Yeah. And then with that being said as well, using your resources that you have available out there, such as I get a lot of calls here at Hip Hemp, and a lot of people that are suffering, they're in pain. Mm-hmm. And I listen. Again, I don't diagnose and I don't prescribe, but I listen. And then I say, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. What you are experiencing is very, very common. Mm-hmm. 1 out of 2 women through menopause experience this, mm-hmm. or the back pains or the headaches or whatever it might be. You're not alone. Mm-hmm. And I let them talk. And so I take pride in that. I love it when my clients call and I might get stuck on the phone with them for 20 minutes. And it's just, they're at their wit's end and they're at their last hope. Yeah. And I just listen. And there is resources out there. There's other resources available as well, whether it be a close friend or a physician or somebody at your church, anybody. There's got to be somebody that that can listen. Yeah. And it's not that you necessarily need advice or somebody to tell you what to do. Right. You just need to talk. Yeah. And sometimes, like what you were just saying about talking, standing out and listening instead of just running through the
spinning and
yes. Yeah. When you start saying stuff out loud and you're telling people what's going on, as you're talking, you're going, oh.
Did I just say that?
Yeah. Why was I making such a big deal about, or, okay, well, I feel better just saying it out loud
just
because
letting it
yes.
out. Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing is utilizing your resources.
Yeah.
And as long as you know where to start looking, you're going to find, and we have the wonderful world web at our fingertips that you can put in looking for resources.
It's out there.
It's out there.
You want to know about it, it's out there. for better, for worse.
It's
true.
I
think there's a lot of good out there.
Absolutely.
Good resources.
And there's so many resources that I didn't even realize were available until COVID. Yeah. And it's like, small business this and, unemployment that and therapy this. And it's like, I didn't even know that these things were available. They've been around for years. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's the thing. Whatever you're going through right now, physically, mentally, chances are you are not alone. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have seasonal depression. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have anxiety. Yeah. There's a lot
those
of people,
two go together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then especially when your routine is thrown off. And when it's like what we were talking about with the media, when it's thrown in your face every day, what's happening. Yeah. There's a time where your body just says, enough.
Yeah. I do think it's something I want to share and something I've had to practice with myself, especially now, but also just in my journey is being nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Seriously, because again, we all have our own experiences in life, victories, challenges, things that we've been through. So I, of course, don't want to put us all in the same boat and say that we've all been through the exact same things. But on the flip side of that, like you've been saying, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Yep. Someone's been through what you've been through.
Yep. Absolutely.
You are not alone in whatever you're going through. And so, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
Be nice to yourself.
Thank you. Be nice to yourself because life can be hard. Life really can be hard. Different things that we go through can be, and whether that's in our family lives, in our financial lives, with our health, you name it, there can be difficulties. And I think, I do think it's changing slowly, but I do think in society, at least here in the United States, I think there's definitely this kind of sense of harshness towards ourselves and towards one another. Yep. I know I've internalized that growing up. This I have to be better than where I'm at, and I can't make a mistake. And if I make a mistake, then I'm stupid and I'm lazy and I'm all. Right. Just you name it. And that hurts.
Absolutely.
That hurts to be treated that way. That hurts to treat yourself that way. But I think a lot of times I've maybe made excuses for my own behavior towards myself.
Sure.
Like I am my worst critic, but I don't want to be,
I know, but we are. All of us are.
And so, especially right now, and just in general, like moving forward, I think be kind to yourself and recognize like again, it goes back to taking a step outside, stepping outside and looking at yourself from a larger picture.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of things going on around all of us.
Yeah.
Obviously COVID, economic stressors, maybe we're going through financial troubles, maybe we're going through health troubles, and financial troubles with trying to access, resources, whether it's like medicine or, doctors or whoever it is to try and cope with those things. That can be expensive, health insurance. I mean, there's so many things that make it difficult. You don't have to make it more difficult on yourself by being mean to yourself. Just, I think, be compassionate, be empathetic, be that person that you wish you had in your life to really listen to you, listen to yourself, and just, it's okay. Like, whatever you're feeling, there's a reason that you're feeling it,
That's so true. You know how long I've said, I've had people that say, this is really stupid. And I said, I don't care if it's stupid. You feel that way. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And maybe I agree with it, or if I don't agree with it, it doesn't matter. You're still feeling that way.
That's how they feel.
Absolutely.
It's literally,
Absolutely. So again, find your safe person, find your safe place, and listen. But I love it. Be kind to yourself. I mean, really. And right now, maybe be kind to yourself looks like going out and getting a massage. Well, we can't really do that right now.
Right.
Or
if you have a friend.
But if you have a
that
friend
you live with,
that's
don't
true.
go meet up with other friends that you've been distant from. But
that's true too. But it's and I think the first thing that popped into my head when you were talking was what you learn on a plane, which is if we go down, put it on yourself first, because you can't help the person next to you.
Right. But my child and my
you're not going to help your child if you
are passed out.
And that's the same right now. Yeah. And I was the worst at that the last couple months. I've been helping everybody else.
Yeah.
And my body said, no more, Captain, you're done.
Yeah.
And but now I'm I took that time that I needed, and I'm back.
Right.
And now I'm remembering, hey, take care of yourself. Go out and buy something that feels that's nice for you. Order it or whatever. It doesn't. It's just something that's for me, and I'm taking care of me. And now that I'm realizing that, when I was eating healthier and I was exercising, I was feeling my best. Yeah. That's because I was being kind to myself and I was doing good things to my body.
Right. And you had worked up to that point.
Absolutely.
Building those habits and those skills.
Right. So I love this talk. This is so amazing. We could go on forever.
We really could. And I think it's been 30 minutes, so.
Yeah, it's like 37 minutes. But I think one of the biggest thing I want to touch on too is what we here at Hip Hemp do. What we do helps the physical.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, like I said, that go through a lot of these changes. Yeah. That for the products that we offer, the CBD bombs, which help with the muscles, the joints,
aches and pains, arthritis.
Yes. And then of course the sexual health, sexual wellness. So vaginal dryness, atrophy, intimate massage oils, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We're just a small, tiny piece of that big puzzle of physical. But that's one little piece that might help. Right. Just a little. And it's all organic, which I love.
Yeah.
But when you go through changes physically, it really affects you mentally. And there's many of my clients that maybe were forced into menopause, or many of my clients that have had breast cancer, or have transitioned, or the list goes on and on. Right. And so this is all stuff mentally they're going through anyways. Well, now they're going to feel physical stuff. Right.
Which also affects the mental.
Absolutely. It's a big vicious.
Affect the physical again too. So
it's a big vicious cycle. So it's like, try these products out. If they work, let me know. And that's just a tiny piece. That's just a tiny little piece, though. If your body feels good, then you can go walk a little bit longer and do that extra mile. And My mother-in-law has been using the CBD balm. She has sciatica problems.
Yeah.
Normally, you go to physical therapy for that.
Yeah.
You can't do physical therapy right now.
Yeah.
And she sits in a desk all day at home, and she's in pain. And she actually bought some of the CBD balm, and she couldn't believe how much it's helped her to feel better physically. But then it's the mental. She's able to focus better at work, you know. But it also goes back to being kind to yourself.
Yeah. Well, and even right, because it's being kind to yourself is both in how you treat yourself through your thoughts.
Right.
About yourself, but also literally physically how you treat yourself. And I think there's something that happens when you do something positive for your physical body, whether it's what you put into your body with food or even just taking a shower.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's simple things like grooming, you know,
I know.
including, you know, for people who are experiencing, maybe it's the some of the symptoms of menopause or who are going through breast, cancer, with vaginal atrophy, dryness, etc. That's painful, and so it's just because there's a global pandemic, it's still important to take care of your physical body.
Yep. And unfortunately, these things are still happening. Yeah. None of this goes on pause because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Menopause does not pause.
Menopause does not pause. That's for sure. It's like the cancer epidemic, and it's just, unfortunately, all of these things are continuing to happen, and we've got the extra stress of everything else that's going on in the world around us. So that's why I think more now than ever, it is so important to find what works for you, what will continue to work, make you feel your best, and stick to that. Stick to your routine. Keep that diary, that journal, talk to your resources, your friends. And be kind. I love that. Be kind to yourself.
Be nice.
It's so important.
And I think for anybody who maybe hasn't tried our products or has tried some products but not others, we do, if you don't already know, we do offer samples.
Yes.
So we have samples of the vaginal moisture drops. Yep. I think there's 6 in a little packet.
Yep.
And we also have samples of each of we have 3 different types of intimate massage oils, which can actually, it's just oil. It's just, high quality, good oil. Yep. I've done a hair oil.
Oh, yes, you have.
It actually worked really well. So
I have clients that use it. It's a plant-based oil. Yeah. And so it's got the carrier oil is hemp seed oil, avocado, and grapeseed oil. Yeah. Depending on which flavor, which type you get. Yeah. And then there's essential oils. Yeah. And for those of you who know what essential oils, they're nothing but positive stuff in essential oils, packed with nutrients and everything. And they can be used from head to toe. They can be used as a personal lubricant. Yeah. They can be used as a massage. I have clients that use it on their cuticles, and some clients that are diabetic, they have really dry skin. They use it on their feet. And they just love it. And it's just it's just a really good, positive product. And I love doing conventions and going to expos and stuff, but I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah, I'm not either,
and so I'm not going to pressure you. I am all about.
We will encourage you. To try.
And this is what we have, and it's so amazing. Yeah. But that's okay if you don't. It's okay, but try it. And we have other salespeople that are like, nope, come here, you're buying this, and you're not going to walk. And I want to educate too, because. The best way that you can learn and to get better and to better yourself is through education. Right. And I love to learn. Right. I love it. And the blogs that we do, it's not just something that comes up in our head. I mean, this is a lot of research. Yeah. And it takes a lot of time to put these together because we want to make sure we're giving the most accurate, informed, peer-reviewed research possible. Yeah. Not that we can diagnose or anything, but it's good information that has been proven to work for many.
And I think that really almost like brings it back to the start of the conversation where we both talked about like Hip Hemp is more than just a company that makes and sells these products, and it's also about having a conversation, which you've been doing through the blogs, which I've done through a blog, and we're doing now, and I think we're both hoping to continue doing with this. And so again, like we want to have your feedback,
absolutely,
if this is something that you want to see more, and what you think about today's topic,
and if you have ideas for future topics. I mean, we can dive into more information about the product.
I'll talk about pretty much anything.
He
So
does. We could dive in.
It might not all be workplace appropriate. I'll say that, but
It's true. It's true. We could dive into CBD stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of confusion because the laws are constantly changing for THC, CBD, all that stuff. So, give us an idea. But as of right now, I mean, I've really enjoyed this, and it's helped me personally because we get to talk and get it all out and stuff. But I mean, probably in another month we probably do another one.
Yeah, I think so. But seriously, let us know. I mean, so for the most part, maybe just to give, again, for folks who aren't as familiar, again, you are the company in a lot of ways. We also have another person that works with us, Deb. Her name is Deb.
Yep.
So there's myself, Dante, Angela, and Deb.
Yep.
For the most part, if you give us a call or email us, you'll be hearing from Angela, sometimes Deb as well. But let us know what, whether it's over the phone or through email or even on Instagram. Again, if you have any responses, if you want to share your story as it relates to today's topic, or just in general, if you just want to share, we want to listen.
Absolutely.
And we want to make this company bigger than just, selling products.
Absolutely.
Because it's more than just that.
It really is. The physical, mental health, it's about the whole, the person as a whole.
Yeah. And
we're just a tiny, tiny piece of that puzzle, but we're hoping to be a little bit bigger and just offer that resource and that support. And so our email, if you don't already know, it's info@hiphemp.com. And on our website, hiphemp.com, you can find our phone number as well. And, reach out. We can send some samples. And also, if you're really interested, you could use a webinar 20, and get 20% off.
That's I will spell that WEBINAR, all lowercase 20.
Yes.
Webinar 20. It expires June. Is there a 31st in this month? 30th.
This actually will be good through the year, but you can only use it once. So.
Gotcha.
It's our new clients that will be.
Nice.
Yeah. So
there you go.
There you go. You can use it once, and you can get 20% off your entire order. But
and again, if you want to, with the sample bit, we ship everywhere.
Yep.
We are international, so if you're here in the United States, if you're in a different country, we can send you some samples, and then, if you're interested, then, you have that promo code.
We also offer wholesale pricing, distributor pricing. There's different ways that we go about that, but that also, I have clients that will order a year's supply, and they get it for a lot cheaper because they've ordered it for the year. So
how many is that? I'm curious. How many 90? That would just be 12. 30, because there's 30.
12 30s, yeah.
It's not that much.
No.
It's like a small amount of
It's something, but they're saving money, so that's why they spent a larger amount, but you're getting it for cheaper.
Right. Just get 12.
No, but the webinar 20 does not work on that pricing, so don't do that. But anyways, make sure and reach out for anything. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Probably too much. I have a real hard time about unplugging when I go home. That's how much I love what I do, because it's important to me and I love it, and it makes a difference, and I live for that. But Dante has taught me. In fact, it was Dante who told me to take a vacation over Christmas, and that was my first full week's vacation in 5 years.
Right? Which is exactly why I was like,
they basically said,
vacation.
They're like, no, you're done, go. And I said, okay. And I did a staycation, and I got stuff done around the house. And so,
she's still busy, but it was good.
It was, but it was like.
You were busy, not just work.
Right. So, all right, with that being said.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
I know. I've really enjoyed it.
And thank you for watching.
Absolutely.
We hope this was helpful, and stay tuned. Hopefully we'll do another one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Even for us.
I need it.
Me too.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.